Welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of January 23rd. Today is Sunday, and the sun shines at 3 degrees of Aries. It finally started to get better today in terms of weather here in Las Vegas, and my goodness, I am feeling the spring like no other. There's so much palpable life force in the air. Like, I literally went outside today and went out with my little cousins and just started running. And there's this desire to be very active right now as we're in spring renewal. I'm curious about how you feel during spring. Like, are you feeling the shift? Are you setting new goals and finding it much easier to move towards them, to possibly even completely change your circumstances? It feels like that for me. And Aries season just feels so good, so clear, and so empowering because it's the season of self. Now, it's opposite my sun, which is in Libra. And this opposition, I don't want to say it's difficult, but I feel like as Libras, or if you're a Libra out there, Aries season could be a little tough because as much as you want to make it about others, you might be forced to make it about yourself because Aries is transiting the opposite sign of Libra. And it's going to be, it might be challenging, but this is the best season. Like, for all my fire signs out there, for all the Leos, Sagittarius, and Aries, happy birthday to the Aries out there. Aries season is going to be fantastic for you because it's all about you. You know, Sagittarius loves to be wild and free and adventurous and go here and there, travel the whole world, to connect to different cultures and beliefs. And you need to be very self-oriented in order to do that. Shout out to Sebastian joining in the chat. And then you have Leo. You have Leo energy. So Leo's Aries season is good for them because Leo is such a heart-oriented sign, a heart-centered sign. And so naturally, all Leos out there, they're all about play. They're all about letting that inner child out to be seen, to be heard, to be felt as well, and just act on their passions. And so Aries is forming a harmonious aspect to both Leo and Sagittarius. And obviously, for my Aries out there, this is your season. This is where you celebrate the exalted nature in which you are, the courageous self that you are, the bold risk taker that you are. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot more we could talk about, but we were at 3 degrees Aries. And yesterday, the sun, is that the new Kian the One shirt? I wish. It could be soon. Shout out Nano CBD. Yesterday, we had the Venus-Sun conjunction, which to me, it felt like a purification of my values. Now, I'm a Capricorn rising, and my fourth house is Aries, so family and home. And it just felt like a purification of my values and what I derive pleasure from when it comes to all family matters, all things regarding the past. Now, this could have played out in a different area of life for you. But again, remember, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I see these 4 days from the 21st all the way until the 24th. All of this is connected because the sun, Pluto, and Venus and Mercury are activated in the sky. And so we're going to get to, once we get to tomorrow, we're going to have the Sun Mercury conjunction in Aries. Now, it is an inferior conjunction, which means Mercury is retrograde, and it's going to go Cazimi, which means go into the heart of the sun and essentially be reborn. Okay, so it's a great day to do some internal soul searching. Okay, I'm talking about tomorrow, Monday. This is going to happen around 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's a great day to do some internal soul searching because the Mercury and Sun conjunction typically signifies aha or epiphany moments. Something becomes very clear very quickly. And being that it's in Aries, it's all about the self. It is all about our passions, our desires, our will, what's driving us forward, our instinct, the purest instinct. And with this conjunction, be very present, pay attention, stay alert to the signs, synchronicities, and insights that you may have, because this conjunction represents epiphany moments. It's very potent. And then Mercury continues its retrograde backwards. This is a jam-packed week, guys. This is one of the biggest weeks in astrology because we are going to lead up all the way until Sunday to one of the biggest celestial events, something that hasn't happened in over 150 years, or about 150 years. And that is Neptune moving into the sign of Aries. This is big. And this is on the 30th. I know Nano CBD knows about that day. That's a good day. So, that's beautiful. See, I'm telling you, signs and synchronicities, especially tomorrow, be very present on the 24th. So we're going to break down this week's horoscope and astrological transits for all 12 zodiac signs, okay? And if you're jumping in, make sure you guys leave your zodiac sign below. Now, we already talked about Monday. Tuesday, we have Mercury and Pluto sextile in the sky. This is part of the overall larger Mercury retrograde season. Now, Pluto's been in Aquarius since November of 2024, and sextiles are 60-degree angles, and they represent opportunity. And they're not guaranteed because they're exactly that. They're an opportunity. So if you miss the opportunity, the harmony is already in the air. But if you don't utilize it, then it's a chance or opportunity missed. And to me, this represents a further transformation of the mind. So once we had this purification of Mercury on Monday, Tuesday, sextile Pluto, there is a deeper cleaning of the lens of perception when it comes to our individuality. And Aquarius is a hyper-individualistic sign in general. And so this week, especially leading up to Neptune on the 30th, these are all celestial aspects and events that have to do with self, right? All these transits of this week, from the 24th to the 30th, they are about you, your will, your desires, your courage, your boldness, maybe even your entrepreneurial spirit, which is all symbolic of Aries energy. And my recommendation for all this, especially with what we had with Venus on Friday, on Tuesday, Mercury, both of these planets are retrograde right now. And the best thing to do is to turn this energy inwards, right? There's a darker side to Aries, and that darker side manifests in since it's such an individualistic sign, it sees no other perspective or way other than the way of the self. And I'm not talking about the higher self, I'm talking about the lower self, the egoic self. And because of this, Aries tends to, on its more darker, shadowy manifestations, be associated with conflict, right? Because it's so individualistic. It's like my way or the highway. But the best thing to do is to turn this energy inwards versus outwards. Now, if somebody comes at you and is directing that energy outwards towards you, you have a right to defend yourself. And that's just what it is. That's the law of justice. You know, Libra sun, come on, justice. And I don't initiate, and I don't like to initiate that kind of energy with anybody. Peace, balance, and harmony are what's most important to Libras. But this energy, especially with our heart and our mind, Venus and Mercury being in Aries, like people might come at you and say some things. Now, you don't always have to respond or defend yourself. Never react, always respond, right? This is what it means to be responsible, for us to continually respond. So we have that on Tuesday. Okay, it is an opportunity. The Mercury Pluto sextile is an opportunity for us to go inwards and to be able to further purify and refine our individuality and how we convey. There's not a whole lot going on Wednesday in terms of the astrology for the week ahead, but one of my favorite things is going to happen on Thursday, the 27th. Thursday, the 27th, at 1:41 a.m., Venus is going to go back into the sign of Pisces. And this ingress back into Pisces as Venus is retrograding is so beautiful because Venus is exalted in the sign Pisces. Her best and brightest qualities shine forward. With Venus in Aries, we've certainly been a little headstrong. But once we get to Venus in Pisces, self-sacrifice, unconditional love, compassion, forgiveness, these will come up once again to be reviewed. How are we forgiving people? How can we serve the world and serve others? How can we love in a deeper, more authentic way? And as soon as Venus goes back into the sign of Pisces, it joins Neptune in the sky around 6:13 a.m. on the 27th of March. This is beautiful energy. Now, we want to be careful not to get carried away, not to wear rosy colored glasses, okay? This is just part of the larger Mercury retrograde season. But this is just like I feel anytime any planet conjuncts Neptune, there's like a dissolution or a dissolving happening. You know, it's beautiful energy, but don't get too carried away. Now, Venus will conjunct Saturn in the sky as part of this larger larger Venus retrograde. And I think this is going to be beautiful and fantastic because it's going to stop us from seeing with too much of rosy-colored glasses, right? We're going to be very realistic when it comes to love, when it comes to this self-sacrifice, when it comes to this compassion, when it comes to this forgiveness. We're going to be very realistic because Saturn is the planet of reality, whereas Neptune is the planet of fantasy. And then shortly after, Friday, not a whole lot going on, but on Sunday, just before Neptune moves into the sign of Aries, there's going to be a conjunction between Mercury and Neptune. Now, Mercury is going to go back into the sign of Pisces on the 29th at 7:18 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Shout out to Wild Bill for joining. Now, as Mercury moves back into the sign of Pisces, shortly after, we are going to have Mercury conjunct Neptune at the final degree of Pisces. Now, this is interesting, guys, and this is just before Sunday. And Sunday at 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Neptune moves into the sign of Aries. This is so powerful, guys. And Wild Bill says Aries Taurus cusp. I wonder if you're feeling this. Well, actually, no, you're Aries Taurus. If you were Pisces Aries cusp, you would have definitely been feeling this kind of energy. But you remember last week where I spoke about on Wednesday of last week, the 19th of March, just before the sun went into Aries and we started spring. You guys remember when I talked about that Sun-Neptune conjunction, right? The ending of endings. We're going to have this theme again just before Neptune moves into the sign of Aries on the 30th. I forgot one other thing, guys, and this is actually pretty major. I can't believe I forgot this. Casually. Let me see. Saturday, it's on the same day. Saturday. So Saturday at 3:58 a.m., we are going to have partial solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. I can't believe I missed this. This is big. Like, we're literally in the middle of eclipse season right now. And my goodness, this week is going to be pivotal because the astrology for this week is absolutely wild. We have Mercury and Venus going back into the sign of Pisces, joining Neptune in this grand finale before Neptune goes into the sign of Aries on the 30th. And then on the 29th, the day before this all happens, we have the solar eclipse in Aries. I'm getting goosebumps. This is like, talk about major endings and new beginnings. Like, everything leading up to Saturday the 29th is going to be huge. So pay attention, be present, stay alert, and just make sure throughout all of this, okay, we're in eclipse season. It's a very karmic time, very potent time. Make sure you follow these 3 rules in order to make it through not just the eclipse, but any given thing. That is to love yourself, to trust yourself, and to believe in yourself. Especially with all this Aries energy, right? This is all Aries energy. Shout out to Sea Plant. Thank you for joining. This is going to be just incredible. What a week we're going to have in astrology. We are all going to feel it. This is going to be a big shift for everybody. Now, just to recap, tomorrow, the 24th, the Sun and Mercury join together in the sky in a cazimi, in an inferior conjunction between Mercury and the Sun, having this aha moment, this epiphany. Everything all of a sudden becomes clear when it comes to your will, your desires, your passions, right? Aries energy. Tuesday, there's a further opportunity to transform and further integrate this epiphany and make it a long-lasting, deep psychological change when Mercury and Pluto sextile each other in the sky. And Pluto is a sign that is all about our deeper psychology, okay? And so with the sextile, there's an opportunity for us to take this epiphany we get on Monday and further integrate it into ourselves. Shout out to Oscar Ramirez. Says this week will be awesome. It's true. So mote it be. You know, here's the thing. Like, there's these like astrologers who are like, they catastrophize. Okay, they sell things based off of fear. But, and by the way, I'm dropping a video tomorrow. It's called Astrology Myths That Hold You Back from Success. Okay, because as students of astrology, there are myths out there that color our perception. And tomorrow I'm releasing a video all about that. So make sure you guys check it out. I'm really excited for it to drop tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then Wednesday, not a whole lot going on. I think Wednesday is the moon. I believe it is in Aquarius. Yeah. So then we come to Thursday. Okay, Thursday, Venus goes back into the sign of Pisces, joins Neptune in the sky. This is Thursday, the 27th. Okay, Thursday the 27th. Venus goes back into the sign of Pisces, joins Neptune in the sky. There's this like beautiful, like transcendent, high vibrational purification of the heart that could potentially happen. Be mindful not to wear rosy colored glasses, okay? And I know you guys won't, because like I said, soon during this part of this larger Venus retrograde, Venus will conjunct Saturn. And that will be either a reality check moment or a further solidification of the decisions that you made based off of your deepest inner knowing and integrity and reality. And then Friday, right? Not a whole lot going on Friday, but then Saturday. This is all leading up to Saturday. All right? Saturday, the 29th, Mercury goes back into the sign of Pisces, joins Neptune for, again, this is very spiritual energy. And I look at it as an energy of grace. Like you will be in complete acceptance of all the changes that are happening in your life. And by Saturday, there will be that final moment of acceptance just before we hit that eclipse. And once that eclipse comes, boom, new beginning on crack, because it's a partial solar eclipse, right? It's not that close to the nodes, but at the same time, it is close enough to the nodes that it's going to constitute a new moon on crack, right? Solar and lunar eclipses are full moons and new moons on crack. Like, the nodes are just points of concentration, like just extra potent, indefinite new beginning. And then the day after, oh my God, Neptune moves into the sign of Aries, just further solidifying this new beginning. Because Aries, again, first sign of the zodiac, represents new beginnings. 0 degrees Aries is the beginning of beginnings. 29 degrees Pisces is the ending of endings. And we're going to have all those. We've been having this. This has been quite the eclipse season. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I'm just floating, I'm just going with the flow, doing my thing. It's been pretty good so far, certain doors opening, certain doors definitely closing, major endings in my life that are occurring. But I think with this Piscean energy, there's just more grace that we have just naturally, okay? And especially that 29th degree, it's like a point of concentration, right? And grace is kind of like, in a way, I see it as like a dissolution of like any expectations, because you're You're in complete and utter surrender. My God. I mean, we're going to go live Sunday through Friday, right? Today's Sunday. We're going to go live tomorrow until Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to talk about and break down each of these along the way. I'll give you guys personal examples of what's been happening in my life. And this is just unbelievable. What a week we're going to have, guys. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. Today is the day where I get to just enjoy and just hang out. The weather is beautiful outside. And if you guys have any questions regarding astrology, spirituality, natural cycles and rhythms, let me know below. Sea Plant says, I'm an Aries Sun, Pisces Moon. Happy birthday. That's awesome. Happy birthday. Let me know when your birthday is. Nano CB says, drop it at 7:06 PST. Just a powerful time. Oh, you're talking about the new video, right? It's a good video. I'm super excited to drop this video. And I finally got this... I almost ended stream. Let's go here, actually, so I can be comfortable. What's that? So I got this really incredible app, and live streams are kind of casual. We keep it raw, we keep it authentic, but I feel like videos that we post should be a little bit more refined. So I got this amazing app today that helps me create better videos, and it has to do with it's like a prompter, on your phone. It's freaking amazing. I'm so excited to utilize this because now I can actually read a script and just make it super focused, super educational. Technology is just getting so amazing. And today, speaking of technology, today the sun sextiles Pluto. This is an opportunity for us to transform our circumstances, whether it's through technology or whether through groups that we frequent, right? This is Pluto in Aquarius that I'm aspecting. And being that sun is in Aries and it's a very bold, this is just such a risk-taking entrepreneurial energy. And you have the opportunity to network today. So if you have a networking opportunity, I would definitely take it. And also technology, or you become more you today than ever before. So tap into this energy for sure. Sea Plant, April 15th. Nice, man. That's a good birthday. Does your astrology reading sense anything big happening this summer financially? Absolutely. Today I was actually looking at when the Neptune-Saturn conjunction is going to happen. And I've talked about this in my other lives before too. In the middle of June, something pretty big is going to happen in terms of the macroeconomics, financial astrology. Okay, let me look this up. Somebody's smoking weed out here. I don't know, it just smells like a blunt. Midstream. So, yeah, June, shout out to Nano CBD. Nano CBD knows the dates, June 15th to June 18th, okay? These are the dates that I predicted something is going to happen. But again, today I was wondering, because, okay, hold on. Let me break this down. The 15th is going to be the Saturn Jupiter square, the final one. Okay, and with this square, this is the final square, so there's some sort of resolution to this ongoing dance that Jupiter and Saturn have been having. This correlates with economic upturns or downturns. One of my predictions is this is going to be the rate. This is going to be around the time where the Fed could possibly cut rates. And because of that, shortly after, on the 15th, on the 18th of June, we're going to have the Jupiter Neptune square. And this square is part of the cycle that Jupiter and Neptune started in Pisces, I think around 2021. That's when this conjunction happened. This started hyperinflation, okay? And so this square is going to be like this, for the opening square. So there's going to be further developments when it comes to this hyperinflation. Now, again, I was looking for the Saturn Neptune conjunction, and I think I need to like look that up. Hold on, guys. Because I know Saturn is going into the sign of Aries in May. This is big too. Like, mark your calendars for these things, guys. And of course, I'm going to talk about them in future lives as well. That was a good question, Sea Plant. So May 24th at 8:35 p.m., Saturn is going to go into the sign of Aries. Yo, shout out to Neurosci Doc. So, but I'm looking for specifically that conjunction between Saturn and Neptune. So Neptune's already there, so it should be around the same day, around the same time. And I am not sure why I cannot find it. Bear with me, guys. By the way, this is known as an ephemeris, okay? This is where I find all the dates and times for my astrology. All the transits, everything is here. It's kind of strange, guys. I don't know. Unless, like, the conjunction doesn't happen. Maybe it doesn't happen. I don't think it happens. Which I don't understand how exactly. Let me look at this part. Oh, because... Oh, man. Okay, let's keep going. To June. Into July. We are in July. Let's look at July. Nothing in July either. Is it going to be in August? I think it's in August, guys. Wait, hold on. I don't know if they're going to conjunct each other. Yeah, they are not going to conjunct each other, guys, in 2025. I think it's going to be in 2026 that it's going to happen. Yo, shout out to Neurosci. Sending love and light your way, brother. I'll be in Sedona or Taos on 5/24. Beautiful. I love Sedona. Great place. Trump's birthday, June 14th. Nice. Oh, that's interesting. He's going to have a crazy solar return. Yeah. Also interested to know what you think about the type of astrology Nostradamus practice. Somebody told me it's super accurate, but I don't know anything. That's a good question. I mean, I haven't really looked into his works. I know he's just made crazy predictions. To be honest, I wasn't aware that he practiced astrology. But maybe that's something I got to look into. So it doesn't look, guys, this is major. Let me look. Let me look into. This is major, guy. This is like, can you believe this? So this further, when we have, this is why I'm geeking out over this. Okay, when we have the Saturn Neptune conjunction, that's what's going to start deflation. If Jupiter, the expander, and Neptune was hyperinflation, Saturn, the contractor, the limiting force in nature, with Neptune is going to be deflation. Excuse me. So this is going to be just epic. But I think it's going to happen in 2026, guys. Yo, so Nano CBD says also Edgar Casey was on fire. Yeah, shout out Edgar Casey too. These are absolute legends. Guys, 2025 is going to be freaking crazy. Yeah, I'll be here to talk about it, Sea Plant. I'll definitely be talking about the Saturn because this is a big one. This is like in terms of like the economy and stuff. But what this tells me in June, this is my prediction, my financial astrology prediction for 2025. In June, when we have that final Saturn Jupiter square, what could possibly happen is the Fed cuts rates, and then shortly after we have Jupiter and Neptune squaring off. It's just going to bring even more inflation. Okay, I really, really, that's my prediction, because I'm looking at the Saturn Neptune conjunction before we start deflation. But that is going to be my prediction for financial astrology. Wow. Just buckle your seatbelts, guys. And also this eclipse too. Let's be real. Like on the 29th, like this could begin war. Like, I don't know. We already live in a planet where war is prevalent, but an eclipse in the sign of Aries that is related to war could very well start a war, a major war somewhere in the world. And I truly pray and I hope that nothing crazy, you know? But that's kind of on the darker side of the manifestations of this eclipse that is going to happen. Plus, there's this other thing too. It's 80-year cycles associated with Neptune and the United States, okay? Every 80 years, according to the Neptune cycle, and 80 years is when Neptune gets to about the halfway point, the opposition, right? Every 80 years, some major war associated with the United States begins. And we are about to get to that 80-year mark. Peace out, Sea Plant. Awesome. I don't even know that guy. Cliff Highs. Cliff Highs. I don't even know that guy. But that's cool because it's science. This is astrology. Like, we're all looking at the same thing. We might have different interpretations of the symbolism, but overall, the symbols generally mean something. Just like numbers, one is always one, but you might attribute one to different things, but it's always going to remain one. And it's the same thing with astrology. Anyways, yeah, I think America, there's something that is going to start in, like, this is one of my predictions. Now, usually I don't do these kinds of readings, but we kind of opened a can of worms with it. But starting on the 29th, especially with Neptune moving into the sign of Aries, this could spell something for the United States. I'm not going to lie. Like, this could be war related for the United States. Now, I don't really follow too much of the news because I don't like it. It's mostly negative. But yeah, this is going to be quite the beginning for the United States. I'll say that much. Um, anyways, let's jump in. Did you see the new discovery under the Great Pyramids? I did not, Wild Bill. Please enlighten us. And Nano CBD says inflating of all assets. I believe so. Especially Jupiter in Cancer is going to be really good for homes. So, yeah, if you own a home, the value might go up. But again, this inflation can't last forever. Okay, and there's definitely going to be a point where you guys want to pull profits. So that's what it's going to be. I'm super excited for it all. I think it's going to be fantastic. You know, never ever be scared. And tomorrow, the video that I'm dropping is going to talk about all this stuff. Like, don't be afraid. You know, it's like, oh, and tomorrow onwards, guys, I started this streaming, this vertical live streaming here on YouTube, but after tomorrow, most likely, I'm going to start multi-streaming, which means I'm going to do these vertical lives and go live all at the same time on YouTube, on TikTok, maybe on Twitch. I got to think about if I want to go on Twitch, and possibly Instagram/Facebook. Nano CBD says, I called Bitcoin on May 23rd. That's awesome. So be mindful of that. I want to tell you guys, because you guys are pretty active here and you guys are all good friends. We're all good friends here. So like, there may be points where I'm like saying like some people's screen names that are probably not even in the chat. But that's because it's going to be connected to other platforms like TikTok and stuff like that. So, yeah, just a heads up for you guys. I'm getting downloads on the war in 2027. Market reacts 2026 from all-time highs. It is a clearing of world consciousness, and the new system of abundance starts fully 2032. Very cool. That's cool. Yeah, so we'll see, guys. I mean, I believe we're in this period of humanity ascending. And in this ascension, things might get messy, because think of your own ascension process, right? It was pretty intense. Mine was pretty intense. And then you kind of level out, you know, you're going, you're clearing, you're healing, and then you are coasting. You know, you see the bigger picture. You have a greater, more loving vision of life and the highest perspective of it. But the world isn't there yet. That's the thing. Like, not all of us are going to be there. Nano CBD says Rumble too, and I agree with that. I'm going to look into Rumble as well. So that's a good. Thank you for bringing that up, because yeah, multi streaming is going to start to happen. Wild Bill says structures built underneath that go for kilometers. That's cool. That's really cool. Cliff High accurately called BTC back in 2010, I think. Nice. Yeah. He must have had its chart. Neuroside Doc says, I would be very cautious about holding past March 26th. Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree. I would definitely agree. I mean, I got to look at the timeline for the Saturn-Neptune conjunction to see exactly when that is, but there is going to be a moment where things are no longer going to continue to go up, but they're going to just naturally self-correct. Why? Because this is just nature. This is the cycles of nature. You can't have spring forever. You know, you can't have spring forever. You can't go up in a straight line forever. What goes up eventually comes down. It doesn't matter whether it's our health, whether it's our career, like, you know, there's always a plateau, and then we go, because nature and life always works in this ever alternating currents between expansion and contraction. So that's what it is. But anyways, guys, that is the week ahead. Make sure you guys are subscribed if you're new here. Hit the bell notification as I go live Sunday to Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I hope you can join me in being one with the sun. And tomorrow, dropping a new video. Guys, be on the lookout for that. I think it's a really good one. I'd greatly appreciate your thumbs up and your comments on it. It will really help. That early engagement really helps. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're growing this thing. We're growing our community here. My YouTube shorts have gotten some traction, some of them. So we might see some new faces around here. Also, keep in mind the multi-streaming. Oscar says, thanks, Kian. We can feel it in the air. Indeed. I pray for all of us. I do. I pray for a breakthrough, a miraculous breakthrough for each and every single person in this live stream or out in the world, visible or invisible, known or unknown to us. May all beings have peace. May all beings know love. And may all beings break through to the God above. Amen. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining. Sending you guys much love. And see you soon.